How about a great round of applause for Kevin and Star Sullivan for another great meal from Rivermill. Thanks to the Chamber staff and the committee for putting this event together. It's always great to have the event back in Dover, back in this facility. Yes. Noisy people in the first table, I forgot. There are a couple of people we hadn't announced earlier. I'm glad you made the noise. Several of the former Citizens of the Year who are with us this evening, not mentioned earlier. Kevin McEnany is with us this evening. And Janet Perry here at table number 11. And just a word to all of those people who work for the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce. I know Katie was up here earlier, but Katie, Kim, Melissa, Morgan, and Donna, the incredible staff for the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce. You have such a great group of people that have been working on this and have been working for the betterment of the city of Dover for all these years. So congratulations to those chamber people and to Katie on her next endeavor. Motherhood is always a great thing. And it's funny because usually at these events we would sell tickets, raffle tickets, and you would win a ticket to the Chamber Sweeps, which is coming up later on this year. But we figured instead what we would do is we would sell chances to name the baby. See, Katie's not here right now, so I can get away with doing it. So for $10, you can be in the drawing and you can name Katie's baby. Now I heard, what was it, Batman was one of the earlier, I think Kim wanted to go with Batman, but it would be Batgirl, I guess, or something to come up with a name. Also, just to let you know that we have another award that we're going to be presenting towards the end of the evening, a special award. I think you might have gotten an email earlier this week about the best dressed person here this evening. So take a look around and look at yourselves and go, hey, I didn't get that email. And I get to decide who wins the award, by the way. So, and you know, this is regardless of race, creed, religion, denomination, although the 50s is my favorite denomination, just to let you know. So we turn our attention to those fine folks who are gathered here this evening to be honored, and it is such an incredible group of people that we are honoring this evening. I've been to these awards for decades, and I always say this is absolutely the best group of award winners ever. And every year you say the same damn thing. They keep coming up with these incredible award winners. So thank you to the committee that did this. You did a great job this year. The annual award is a testament to the individuals and businesses that have made Dover this great place to live, work, and visit. The 2019 recipients were selected from many worthy nominations submitted to a committee of chamber, business, and community leaders. I would like to thank the Chamber's Recognition Task Force. They had a very challenging job of selecting the 2019 winners in this very competitive field of nominees. Please stand when I call your name. Hold your applause until the end, please. Christine Sykes from Town Square Media. Kelly. Remember to talk about holding your applause till the end. You're just going to make Christine stand up for a long time. Stand up, Christine. You're going to wait. Kelly and Doug Glennon from Jewelry Creation. Molly Hodgson from Human Resource Partners. Dan Garibaldi from the City of Dover. Sit down. I'd also like to recognize the major award underwriters. D.F. Richard, sponsor of our Citizen of the Year Award this evening. Optima Bank and Trust, the sponsor of the Business of the Year Award. Newburyport 5 Cent Savings Bank, sponsor of the Small Nonprofit of the Year Award. Consolidated Communications, sponsor of the Large Nonprofit of the Year Award, and Federal Savings Bank, sponsor of the Volunteer of the Year Award. And representatives of the 5 distinguished companies are on hand tonight, and they will help us to honor the deserving 2019 recipients. So let us begin with our Volunteer of the Year Award, sponsored and presented by Federal Savings Bank, recognizing an individual that has gone that extra mile for the greater Dover community through their volunteer efforts beyond the scope of their professional capacity. With us tonight, Tiffany Melanson, Federal Savings Bank, who will present our 2019 Volunteer of the Year Award.
Thank you, John. It is my honor to present the 2019 Volunteer of the Year Award to a very deserving individual who is no stranger to the Chamber and my dear friend, Michael Menkers. After Mike's service to the Chamber as a Community Events Manager from 2011 through 2014, he has remained an integral part of the team as one of its most committed volunteers. He has served in a volunteer capacity for Chico Arts Festival, Apple Harvest Day, City of Lights, and is currently the committee chair for the Festival of Trees. Mike was also a driving force behind the creation of the Dover Road Race Series, has served on the board for Zebra Crossings, and supports the efforts of the Durham Parks and Recreation Department. Mike consistently demonstrates leadership, eternal positivity, and unwavering support of others. He is always willing to pitch in and help, even if it's at 4 o'clock in the morning as we set up for Apple Harvest Day. All while keeping a smile on his face and taking on any project with excitability, ease, and the reassurance of, "Hey man, no worries, I got it." I've had the pleasure of witnessing this firsthand as we've worked together over the years, and I have never met someone who characterizes the concept of never let them see you sweat quite like Mike. I mean, really, has anyone in this room ever seen Mike in a panic? Jill? Ever? I can remember several occasions volunteering in the rain, in the excessive heat, super long hours, when I was thinking words that are not appropriate for this speech, and I look over at Mike and he's laughing, unfazed, and doing what he loves most, giving back. It was repeatedly noted in the letters of support that accompanied his nomination that Mike is always amongst the last to leave any event and will even volunteer to return the next day to further offer his assistance. He does all of this and more selflessly and without hesitation of taking time away from his family, who are also known to join Mike in his volunteer efforts. I think baby Sloan has been to more chamber events than some of us here tonight. The Dover community is a better place because of Mike and his commitment to making a positive impact, and I am honored to present this award to him. Please join me in congratulating Mike Menkers and being named the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce 2019 Volunteer of the Year.
This is the time when I'm probably sweating my most. I'm really excited about this award. This is awesome. Throughout the many years that I've volunteered with Dover, I've gotten a chance to know all of the past volunteers of the year at Dover. And they're some of my favorite people, and like so many of them here are in the room here today. Like Kelly Glenn mentioned, you can't get rid of a chamber staff member. I don't think you can get rid of a chamber volunteer of the year as well. So Don, Bill, Tom, Toby, John, I mean, everybody's in the room right now. So these are people that were friends of mine, I like serving with, but they're also people that I looked up to and try to strive to be. So anytime I can be on a list with that group. It's truly an honor for sure. So I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for sure. You guys are like my second family. Always enjoyed being a part of the Chamber. Federal Savings Bank, thank you guys so much. I can attest an awesome organization. They've been my family bank for over 30 years now, so thank you guys so much. Ryan Queenan, John Burns, Toby Arkwell, you guys put forth the nomination for me for Volunteer Year. I can't thank you guys enough. And since I'm looking this direction, also Molly Hodgson and Astrid Wylands, and the fact that they just said, they were at my table and they said that they should be thanked in some capacity. And I kind of was thinking of you guys, but not my wife, more than anybody, I want to thank Julie. She's here tonight. And my daughter Sloan, as Tiffany mentioned. I guess the joke I've been telling a lot of folks is that it's cool that I won this award this year because I've been thinking about not volunteering anymore. No joke, when you have such an awesome family at home, it gets harder and harder to get away from them. And obviously every minute that I spend with you all is often a minute that I don't get to spend with them. So thank you, Julie, for everything you do to support us, and by default, in supporting Dover. And also you're an awesome volunteer doing this. We also thank you so much. I guess what I'd say is that I don't live in Dover. I'm not from Dover. I used to work in Dover. I don't work in Dover anymore. And so I kind of thought to myself, why do I hang out with you guys? And it was really easy. We got a fun group, and we usually go to the bar afterwards. So that's always very attractive. But it's a lot different than that. I've worked in a lot of communities before, and I guess the one thing that I could sum it up is a lot of the communities that I work in, there's businesses and residents who stand up and they really demand services and opportunities are provided for them. And what I found in Dover over the last 10 years or so that I've been involved is that the residents and the businesses in Dover, they're the folks that actually stand up and make it happen, make those services, make those opportunities happen. And it's something that I don't see in the other communities that I work in. And so that's why I keep coming back to work with you all. And it's a lot of fun for sure. That's what Dover does better than any other place. Every person here has a role. Every person here is welcome to contribute. And every person here can make a difference. And that's really what makes Dover special and makes me coming back. So I really would like working with you guys. I hope to work with you all in the future. And thank you so much.
Volunteering later on this evening. When you're ready to leave, you have your car parked somewhere. Mike is a letter. He also does not know about this long-standing tradition that we're starting this evening about the Volunteers of the Year purchasing a round for former Volunteers of the Year that sit at their table. So, Toby and John, you're good. It'll be $5. You ever see the movie The Godfather 3 when Michael Corleone is standing in his kitchen and he goes, every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. And that's what Mike Magnus is talking about. The chamber just pulls you back. Every single year, there's that magnet that draws you back to the city. It's a great thing. Our Nonprofit of the Year Awards recognize a small and a large nonprofit that have demonstrated excellence in their field. With us this evening is Lloyd Ham, the President and CEO of Newburyport 5 Cent Saving Bank, who will present the 2019 Small Nonprofit of the Year Award.
Thank you, Don. I am honored to present the 2019 Small Non-for-Profit Business of the Year Award to the Dover Children's Home. The Dover Children's Home is organized to ease the plight of children and families who suffered during the recessions of the 1890s and has continued to serve the needs of underprivileged children for the last 125 years. Dover's Children's Home is dedicated to enriching the lives of adolescents and strengthening family relationships through the highest quality residential services and educational programs. Even those familiar with the Dover Children's Home may not be aware that the nonprofit has partnered with the state of New Hampshire on an initiative to help end youth homelessness. The partnership with other providers and state agencies has helped identify the natural supports of these children, and open collaboration on this important issue exists within our state. Over the past year, the staff at the Dover Children's Home has also come to realize that linking the residents with caring adults in the community can be invaluable in the outcomes of their future success. This speaks volumes not only to the Dover Children's Home's innovation, but also their impact on our community. Identifying supportive, caring adults as available resources to the young adults that they serve will be a tremendous asset for many years to come. Please join me in welcoming Renee Toohey Childress to congratulate Dover Children's Home as the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce 2019 Small Not-for-Profit Business of the Year.
Good evening. Thank you so much. On behalf of the children, staff, and board of directors of Dover Children's Home, I would like to thank everyone who wrote recommendation letters. Tim Lindsay from Formax, Debbie Dewey Reed from Dover Ford Toyota, Mike Steinberg from Relico, Cliff Metcalf from Kingswood Leasing, Sarah Ashworth from Kennebunk Savings, Steve Gagnon from Back Bay Networks New Hampshire, Tiffany Melanson from Federal Savings, Jeff Romer from Blue Latitudes, and Carrie Duffy from Seacoast Educational Endowment for Dover. Also, a very special thank you to Toby Hartwell for nominating DCH for the award, as well as the committee for making the difficult decision of choosing between so many deserving organizations. All of the kind words and testimonies of the work we do gives us renewed energy and ambition. For almost 126 years, Dover Children's Home has served thousands of children, youth, and families in Dover and throughout all of New Hampshire. Our mission of providing quality, innovative treatment drives the work, while the success of our youth drives our passion to uphold the mission. Our program currently serves youth ages 10 to 21, pivotal years for growth and learning. We strive to provide our kiddos with typical adolescent experiences, even in the face of significant hardship. From driver's education, after-school activities, sports, prom, graduation, jobs, friends, etc., our youth have access to the same opportunities as many of their peers. We're proud of the accomplishments of our kids, children who have endured some of life's most difficult challenges, and at such a young age. But those situations haven't stopped them from graduating from high school, working multiple part-time jobs, buying their first cars, going off to college, getting first apartments, and all while facing their own trauma. I, for one, feel immensely humbled by their resilience. Dover Children's Home would not be the program it is today if it weren't for the Dover community. It's amazing that I can look out into this crowd and know that almost everyone, whether directly or indirectly, has had a part in our program's success and the success of so many children. DCH has survived because of the enduring generosity it has received. Our program as a whole, but most importantly, each individual resident, is directly impacted by the selflessness of this community. As we look on to the future, we're excited about both the physical changes to the house with the renovations happening, as well as the ever-changing programming to meet the needs of every youth who walks through our doors. We look forward to welcoming you all into the home this May to see the renovations up close and personal, but before then, we welcome you to help us continue our fundraising efforts at our 11th annual Bowl-a-thon on Sunday, February 17th. Challenge your coworkers or friends on who can get the most pledges and who can bowl the best game. We hope to see you there. From all of us at Dover Children's Home, thank you again. We're honored to be recognized as your community's Small Nonprofit of the Year.
So we have two nonprofits that we honor this evening. Also with us tonight to present our Small Nonprofit of the Year award is Rob Kester of Consolidated Communications.
Good evening. Thank you, Don. It's my pleasure to present the 2019 Large Nonprofit of the Year to Community Action Partnership of Stratford County. At Community Action Partnership of Stratford County, or Stratford CAP as they're known, they believe no one should go without having basic needs met. As a leading anti-poverty agency in Stratford County since 1965, Stratford CAP strives to empower individuals and families to achieve self-sufficiency by opening the doors to resources and opportunities that offer a hand up, not a handout. By achieving this goal, they reduce the impact of poverty and build a stronger community. It's jaw-dropping what Stratford CAP has achieved in the 2017-2018 calendar year. The organization served nearly 10,000 households and provided $10.3 million worth of goods and services to the county. This includes, but is not limited to, housing services to over 240 homeless individuals and families, over 22,000 free summer meals, and over 40,000 after-school meals to children, over 3,000 safe and accessible rides to seniors, over $2.5 million in utility assistance, and over 550 children and families received early childhood education, home visiting, and child care. It's particularly fitting that Stratford CAP should be recognized this year for it celebrated the opening of its unified headquarters at Bradley Commons on Central Avenue in Dover. Stratford CAP's new space will allow for program expansion and further innovation to meet the growing needs of the community. With us this evening to accept the honor of the 2019 Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce Large Nonprofit of the Year is CEO Betsy Andrews Parker.
All right, this is more intimidating than dancing down the street, I gotta be honest. All right. So on behalf of the clients, staff, and volunteers, and the board of directors, I just want to thank the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce for this award and recognition, and also thank D.R. Fichard, Dover Police Department, and Northway Bank for the letters of support and nomination. I have a few minutes, I know, and if you know me, I love a microphone, but I'm not going to go on about being the leading anti-poverty agency or that we've been here for 55 years or over 10,000 people. I just want to tell you about my staff, because my staff is what made us the Large Nonprofit of the Year, and why I'm honored to work with them every day. And this is true. In the last 24 hours at my agency, we've reached out to 400 families who got their early SNAP and food stamp benefit, and to help them figure out how to budget and plan for the early release of that money so their food can last until February. We had staff come in on their planned days off today because they actually went out into the woods behind Hannaford, under the bridge. They went to the parking lots where all the people are sleeping to ensure they're going to the emergency shelter this weekend when the storm hits, or that they're going to be safe and they're going to be someplace. They gave out bus passes, they gave out gas cards, they gave out passes to Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's. On their days off, they came back in. At 5 o'clock, we had 5 emergency fuel deliveries that we did for people to ensure they weren't going to be cold over the weekend, and we have staff, again, who are giving up days with their kids over the weekend and the long holidays to make sure that we can answer the phone to get people here. We gave space heaters to a couple clients whose furnace broke this week, but the contractor can't get there until next week, so they can be warm. And we gave, so now I'm going to cry, extra food in a food pantry for a client who was concerned the bus wasn't going to run on Monday. And we gave that client an extra cupcake because we all need cupcakes when we're stressed out, right? Yeah. And so we hope that that cupcake keeps that person happy who was worried about not being able to get their food on Monday. And Jessica Smith, who is a client that was featured in a recent article about the gift of warmth that's been running in the Fosters, if you saw it. When I read this, I was having kind of a down day because some stuff is kind of happening around us. It's really impacting us, and we're worried about if we're going to feed our kids and what we're going to do. And she said, I don't know if it's a pride thing, but I never felt like we should need help. When you go to CAP, they make you feel welcome. They want to help, and they made me feel so humble. I love what they did for us, and anyone who is in trouble, they should definitely reach out. It's okay to help. So this award really is for my team that made Jessica feel so great coming in, and thank you all of you for continuing to support the work that we do, and we're proud to serve the community. Thank you.
That guy. Is there anybody in the room who has not seen Betsy's video?
No, wait, Don. There is one person who hasn't seen the almost 10.5 million views of my video. He's right over there.
Who is it? As you probably know, Betsy did the video to promote the lip sync contest a year ago, and it went on YouTube, and 10.5 million people have viewed this video of her. It was done one take on a cell phone out in front of Harvey's and Nicole's and Jewelry Creations, and Betsy can dance, let me tell you. The person who really is upset about that the most is Kevin McEnany, who up until this point was probably the most viewed dancer in the city of Dover. When you were at the Jumbotron at the Garden, and they caught him doing the McEnany. Sorry, Kevin, you have been surpassed by Betsy Andrews Parker. Our Business of the Year award. This year, the selection committee recognizing a very deserving Business of the Year. This award recognizes a company that has demonstrated leadership in the business community, has made substantial contributions to the quality of life in the greater Dover area, and embodies excellence, not only in its line of business, but through the daily interactions with the community. And with us to present our Business of the Year award this year is Rob Gagnon of Optima Bank and Trust.
So first I want to thank one of my friends at DF Richard at our table for, I tried to match him glass for glass of water. So this is going to be really quick. So, since the early 1940s, Ross Furniture has been a landmark downtown business in our Dover community. And in 1973, a 12-year-old Jason Howard got a part-time job there. And he ended up buying the store in 1997. The Howard family and their staff have provided an exceptional customer experience for over 20 years, but they are known for so much more. They have shown great support to our youth through sponsorships of our local sports teams. They have donated to many nonprofits and families in need, and they are a great neighbor to our other local businesses, demonstrating a commitment to help them when they are in need as well. As a quick aside, my wife and I were looking for furniture right before the holidays for my two boys. One is 11 and one is 5. We went to many stores, including Ross, and we unfortunately ended up buying it from a large furniture store who I will not name. And after buying the furniture, we had such a poor customer service experience that we had this remorse after we did it, that my wife actually went back to Ross Furniture the following day and spoke with Joshua Howard. and which is my older son's first name, so I'm never going to forget you, Joshua. She mentioned what we had done. We weren't feeling good about it, the purchase, and one of the things specifically that my 11-year-old wanted was somewhere to plug his electronics into his bed frame. And we didn't see that on the furniture that we were looking at in the store. I wanted to say that Joshua took the time. He worked with her going over how they could help with that, and actually solved our problem. He was patient, kind, and very knowledgeable, and we ended up canceling our furniture order with the large store, and we bought both bedroom sets for our kids through Ross. And it was specifically because of how you treated us. The Howard family is a family of faith. They leave it up to God. And what's important to them is that their employees and community are taken care of at the end of every day. They truly exemplify what Dover is all about. And we all know something very important about this family and their business, and that is where you can find them on one particular day of the week, when they are not at work. Take a look at their delivery trucks or listen to one of their radio ads, and say it with me, everyone. Closed on Sundays, see you in church. Join me in congratulating Ross Furniture on being named the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce 2019 Business of the Year. And with us this evening is the owner, Jason Howard, and his wife, Tina.
Jason, alcoholic? Oh, God, wrong meeting. I just want to recognize all my employees. I want to just go around the table. Eric Roy, Amy Roy. Eric started work, I think it was 2006. And him and my brother brought us to another level, opened up a store called Pete's Bargain Basement. That brings me to my nephew over there, Peter. Pete Bargain Basement. And my beautiful daughter-in-law, her husband Joshua, her name is Aislinn Carenti. I'm bad with names, even my own kids. But I think I got 6. And Joshua and Jonah over there. Jonah, there he is, the guy with the hat and the bling and everything else he's got on there. And my son Jacob next to him. Hopefully, the future of the store, not just Jacob, but and my little girl Juliana, I'm the love of my life. And Kelsey is right next to Jacob, his girlfriend. And not last but not least, my wife, my soulmate, 10-year survivor of cancer, buried 2 children, and still stayed and encouraged me to continue on with Ross Furniture. So, and She used to come back to work after radiation and chemo. That's how tough she is. But speaking of tough, my mother's right over there. She raised 8 children, and we were all wild, let me tell you. My father, after 21 years of service with the police department, my mother introduced us to him, and he finally found out he had 8 kids. Because he had to work 2 jobs, and one of them was Ross Furniture, and he's the one who got this scared little 12-year-old boy a job over there. And my brother Joe's over there. I can see him. If I tell him this, I think he is standing up. But he's our electrician, and we call him the floater when he works at the store. And then Terry, right next to him, my brother's brother-in-law. He's my brother from another mother. No, he straight from Jamaica. I got him coming from Jamaica to work at Ross Furniture. And I had to have a cook, so I stole Chris Angelopoulos from Alexander's Restaurant. And he's been with us 25 straight years. He's the only one, I believe, I better not say this out loud because I'm not sure about this, but he's on time for work. My brother Tony, right next to him, was the #1 salesman at Ross Furniture, money-wise. Made more money in 1 year than anybody in the whole store. I think my son Joshua overtook him. But the year that Tony won, there was an asterisk there, that's right. He called up one of his buddies over the phone and says, I just sold you a lamp for $10 to be. And then my brother Andrew, who went into the Airborne, ran the Boston Marathon and became a lawyer. He passed all the bars in New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts. I couldn't pass one bar, but he passed the three. He passed them, and he did well, and became my partner in 1999, I believe. And him and Eric together brought our business to another level. And then who's next to, Chris Galanis, 94-year-old Chris Galanis, does my books on paper, and yeah, it still does them, and they match up with the computer. And I got my father here, Dano Howard, police officer, 20 years. Yeah. He's 84 years old, and he still comes and my mother pays me to keep him there, really. That's the truth. She can only afford 2 days right now, but he's got a cane. He walks around the store. He yells at the customers a mile away from them. He falls asleep in the chair at 3 to 5. It's a lot of good stuff going on. We're more than a furniture store. We're a rehab, we're everything down there. One of my new employees over the guy with the Boston hat, that's Paul Stanton. He's a single father, takes care of his children. And he needs help, of course, and the young lady before me sounds like she helps a lot of people. So, and then we got Chrissy. She's a new member just recently. Neb finally gets a girlfriend. I got him all the way from Ethiopia. He's another one. Neb, my buddy Neb. Yeah, all good workers, these guys. And Dennis Dean. Dennis Dean and me got in a fight in junior high, and we've started working together. We've been together forever, 12 years old. And we grew up at Ross Furniture, you know. We grew where we were planted, you know. And is that Cynthia? Yeah, Cynthia, beautiful Cynthia. There she is. I tell everybody, they ask if she's my wife. I said, no, she's my girlfriend. It works out good. And there's Colleen, Dennis's wife, right there. All these women, by the way, if it wasn't for, I'm honest when I say this, because they used to call me a male chauvinist pig, and I'm not. But these girls, if it wasn't for them, I'm honestly saying this, letting us work with my boss before me to 9 o'clock at night, 8:30 to 9 o'clock at night, you know, and on Christmas Eve, you know, and Christmas, me and Dennis had to go back because we delivered the chair to the wrong person on Christmas Day and go bring it to the other house. But anyways, and there's Laurel Dean and Colleen Dean, beautiful women, very, very encouraging to their husbands. And Dale Dean, I've been with him too. He's a little older than us, a little gray, you see him? Yeah. But we all been together since we were 12 years. We all started down there at 12 years old. And now we're back together again. They had left for a little bit and came back. I thought I'd be working for them, honestly, at the time. But they left. My boss got hit by a car. And this little kid, I was a truck driver. I wanted to deliver furniture the rest of my life. And I still do. And he got hit by the car, and next thing I know, I'm running a business. I find out it's going out of business. The IRS was on his way up to close the doors. He was into me for like $50,000, and I mean, it was just crazy. It was just crazy stuff. And Kaylee, another beautiful girl. See, a lot of beautiful girls down there. And she's Ryan's girlfriend, right? And I don't know if you guys know Ryan Dean or not. But I used to watch him play basketball at Dover High, and I never prayed so hard for someone to change. And he got mad at everybody, even himself. And he was crazy out there, but I saw me in him, you know. I was an angry young kid, too, when I was young. And he grew out of it, and he's becoming the top salesman down there. But that's my story, and it's all the... That's it?
That's a great story. And they are more than just a furniture store. They're a bowling alley. Still have 1 lane or 2 up on the 2nd floor? 9 lanes up there? Wow. Boy, I haven't been up there in a while. I feel like I've known the Howard family forever. I think I used to talk to your mom about every day. Sometime a little bit after 9 o'clock in the morning, I'd be on the radio doing a talk show, and gee, there's a familiar voice, and we used to speak quite often. And of course, watching the children grow up when they would come in to record those commercials, the little voices saying, you know, closed on Sunday, see you in church. Now it's closed on Sunday. But congratulations, it's incredible that the business continues and continues to grow. And I think I've told you before, Jason used to go in and talk to Bill Kafkas, you know, say, great guy that ran Ross Furniture for years, and say, how much for that chair? And he'd say, tell you what, ma'am, tell you what, how much do you want to pay for that chair? So now you know some of the reasons why all right. I just want to get one thing clear. You said, you know, he got hit by a vehicle, and you said, and I was driving the truck. Now, that was two different situations, correct? Okay. Our last award for the evening is our Citizen of the Year Award. It is presented by D.F. Richard, recognizing an individual who has made major contributions of time and energy to the progress and betterment of the Dover community. And with us this evening to present our 2019 Citizen of the Year Award representing D.F. Richard is Roland LaPointe.
That's a very, very tough act to follow. I'm sorry. I'm a pretty serious guy, so bear with me. Thank you, Dawn. I'm pleased to be here tonight for this very special announcement. The Citizen of the Year Award is a very special honor, not just for the recipient, but for the community at large. Tonight, I have the privilege of presenting the 2019 Citizen of the Year Award to Dover's librarian and unofficial historian, Kathleen Bodwin. Although Kathy has worked since 1988 as the director of the City of Dover's library, she is what most people in the community refer to as Dover's historian. For many years, she has devoted personal time to helping raise money for nonprofits. She spends many hours writing the scripts for the historical walks every year through the mills, the cemetery, the Woodman Museum, and the McConnell Center. She has published booklets of specific areas of interest, including presidents who visited Dover. She was instrumental in the creation of the historic markers that are placed throughout the city. She has trained Dover Chamber Historic Walking Guides and gives third grade students from all of the Dover schools a historic tour of the downtown. She has served on many boards, including Dover Listens, Dover Main Street, the Woodman Museum, and several chamber event committees. Kathy represents our community at the state level as well and was recently selected as the 2018 New Hampshire Librarian of the Year. Unfortunately, I don't have time to read aloud all of the sentiments shared in over a dozen letters of support that accompanied Kathy's nomination. However, Noreen Beal, friend and collaborator of many citywide projects, did perfectly summarize Kathy's character by sharing this quote. Kathy is just as much of a treasure as the library she runs. So, with that said, please join me in thanking and congratulating the 2019 Citizen of the Year, Kathleen Bowdler.
Thank you very much. By the way, you all look great. Glitz and glamour, right? If you didn't know, the theme of tonight was glitz and glamour. So I really send kudos to the organizers of this event, because when you think about glitz and you think about glamour, your next thought was immediately, well, let's honor a librarian. So shout out to all my glamorous librarians down there at the table. Thank you so much for this great honor, and for DF Richard for sponsoring it. Thank you, Roland. I'm sure any of the former Citizens of the Year that are here tonight or in absentia would tell you that we don't do this for any sort of recognition. We do it because we love Dover. There's something in the air here that makes you want to contribute, to join, to inspire, to make Dover a better community. So in my opinion, this evening should not be about any one individual, but about Dover and the wonderful things that happen here. So why is Dover so special? Well, partly it's our unique history. You knew I was going to get into history, right? I'd like to share a few interesting tidbits with you because, well, that's what I do. I'll start with a few facts. I'll just run down a list. Some of the things you may not know about Dover, about why it's so special. Many of these things you might already know that are at the top of my list. Did you know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were invented in Dover in 1984? Everybody knew? So everybody knows about the goat downtown, right? Supposedly he bit one of the presidential candidates in one of the primaries. But you probably didn't know we have a more famous animal in Dover. It was in the mid-19th century, but it was orangutan, and he dressed in little boys' clothes, and he went downtown all the time, and he ate in restaurants with a knife and a fork, and he smoked a cigar, because you could smoke in restaurants then. So he was part of Cushing Circus. There was a very famous circus in Dover called Colonel Cushing Circus. And when it wasn't out on tour, it spent the winters here at in a barn on Dover Point Road. And it was the prototype for the big circuses that toured nationally. P.T. Barnum was a protege of his. And there's a wonderful story about Tom Thumb, who visited Dover often, that I can't go into here because we'd be here all night. But ask me sometime what Tom Thumb did when he was in Dover. The Garrison City. We weren't called the Garrison City until 1955. Seems like we were called that forever. There were garrisons here forever, but there was a contest in 1955. A 10-year-old girl won it. So I looked recently at the entries for that contest, and you know, Dover is in a great place today. It's a wonderful place to live. People are moving in. We're rated really highly in all the surveys. I can tell you that if some of those other names had won, we would not be in the place we're in today. Garrison City is the right name. You may also know about a famous engagement in Dover. There was a young woman named Lucy Hale, who was the daughter of Senator John Parker Hale, and the Hale House is now part of the Woodman Museum. Lucy Hale, of course, lived in Washington when her father was in the US Senate, and she was dating all kinds of famous young men down in the Capitol, but she was secretly engaged. And who was she secretly engaged to? John Wilkes Booth, who shortly after they became secretly engaged, assassinated President Lincoln, and Lucy was cleared of any involvement in the murder. Some firsts about Dover. The first yards of printed calico printed in the United States were made here in Dover in 1827 in our mills right down the street. Dover held the first strike by women in the nation 191 years ago. So the Me Too movement was active in Dover in 1828. We had an inventor named Moses Garish Farmer. There's some debate about this, but supposedly he was the inventor of the first incandescent light bulb. He did it in 1858, and Edison didn't do it till 1879. We had a woman named Mary Dow, who was the first American woman president of a railway company, the Dover Horse Railway Company. This made national news, and it was circulated in all the newspaper, and one editorial writer wrote, "Mrs. Dow is just the man for the job." And of course, we have Marilla Ricker, who you see everywhere, our suffragette, who ran for Congress, ran for governor, was the first woman admitted to the New Hampshire bar, was admitted to practice before the Supreme Court, and of course she never got to run for any of those offices because women couldn't vote. For 30 years she went down to Dover City Hall and tried to vote, and for 30 years she was denied. So in 1920 when she died, that's when the amendment passed to allow women to vote. Some personalities about Dover. So American poet John Greenleaf Whittier, his grandparents were married here in Dover at the Quaker Meeting House. And he wrote a very famous poem called The Whipping of the Quaker Women, which is a true story that happened in 1662 when we weren't so tolerant, and the Congregationalists tied these Quaker women to the back of a cart and stripped them to the waist and beat them on the back until they left town. So John Greenleaf Whittier wrote a poem about that. We also have the Quaker Meeting House was a stop on the Underground Railroad for slaves fleeing the South and trying to get to Canada. Captain Joseph McConnell, we have the McConnell Center now in Dover. He was the #1 Korean War flying ace with 16 confirmed kills. There was a Hollywood movie made about his life called The McConnell Story, starred Alan Ladd and June Allison. And the East Coast premiere was held at the Strand Theater in 1955, and June Allison actually attended. The famous Hollywood movie producer Busby Berkeley owned a house in Dover. He never lived there, but he put his mother there. It was the old Sawyer Mansion on the site of the now defunct Burger King, and the Jonathan Sawyer Mansion belonged to Busby Berkeley. Unfortunately, he didn't pay his taxes, and the property was taken over by the city for non-payment. Did you know that Vanish toilet bowl cleaner was invented in Dover? It's very important. Also, Expello mothballs. And the inventor of these products was Judson Dunaway. And Judson Dunaway ended up giving $6 million to the city of Dover. There's a wing at the hospital named for him, the high school football field, the library at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, and a bunch of other projects, all from toilet bowl cleaner. Lots of presidents visited Dover, but perhaps the most memorable was President William Howard Taft. Taft was a very obese man, close to 400 pounds. So when he spoke from the balcony of the American House in 1912, they had laid out a big chair for him to sit in, but they had draped it with an American flag. And knowing flag etiquette, President Taft would not sit on the flag. So he sat in the smaller chair next to the big chair. And when he got up to talk, the chair came with him. He was holding the chair. And it took 3 men to pull the chair off him so that he could give his speech in Dover. I'm sure he remembered that. And there's one other famous person born in Dover, and I don't know if you're a fan or not, but Chip Kelly, the UCLA Bruins football coach, or Oregon Ducks, or San Francisco 49ers, or Philadelphia Eagles. He was born in Dover. Within a 4-block radius of Silver Street, you can walk and find 11 different styles of American architecture right in that area in Dover. No other community has that. It's remarkable, and the Chamber offers a walking tour in spring, summer that you can take that will explain all those architectural styles to you. And speaking of Silver Street, the house at 38 Silver Street was made famous in 1940 when it appeared in Ripley's Believe It or Not. So I'm not going to tell you why, but when you go by 38 Silver Street, you can still see why it made Ripley's Believe It or Not. So finally, a couple of miscellaneous funny items. In 1875, we had something called the Pine Grove Mineral Springs, which was near Bellamy Forest. Don't know quite what they mean by Bellamy Forest, but I assume the woods off Bellamy Road. It said if you drank their water 1 to 3 glasses per day, it would cure hypochondria, melancholy, hysteria, gout, colic, and canker sores. Just 35 cents a quart. So somebody needs to find that springs again. And just so you know, it's not all good news in Dover. On July 31st, 1643, George Webb was presented to the court for living vile like a swine. This is just a small sampling of some of the interesting historic tidbits that make Dover the city we're proud to work in, live in, play in, and why I'm proud to work here as well. There are only 6 communities in Dover, in the United States, older than Dover. And we will celebrate our 400th anniversary in the year 2023, just 4 years from now. There's a Dover 400th committee already up and running, and we are raising funds, soliciting sponsors, selling merchandise, and we hope you'll all take part and contribute to this wonderful year-long celebration that we're planning for the year 2023. And some other good news, just this week, the Dover Historical Society, and if a city is the 7th oldest in the United States, we really need a historical society, disbanded in 2008. Well, it is being reconstituted. So if you are interested in Dover history or anything at all to do with Dover's past, there is going to be an organizational meeting at the library February 11th. That's a Monday at 7 p.m. And interested citizens are welcome to attend, and we'll see if we can get this society up and running so they're all on board and things are happening by the time we celebrate the 400th. So please come to that. So I hope I've told you something about Dover that you didn't know tonight. And if you want to know more, come and see me at the library. And by the way, I work with the best people at the library, with the best department heads in the state, and with the best colleagues on the committees and boards I serve on. Thank you so much to the Dover Chamber of Commerce for this fantastic evening, and congratulations as well to my fellow honorees. Thank you.
We really do owe an awful lot to Kathy for all that she has done to keep Dover's historic nature in our minds and in our forefront, and the work that she has done on the Revealed series over the years and the historic walking tours. And you know, personally, I got my love of books from Kathy. She and I both grew up in Somersworth, and Kathy's mom was the librarian in Somersworth when I was growing up. And when I was very, very young, Kathy used to come and babysit me and my older siblings, and she would always bring books, and she would read to me. And because of that, Kathy, I have always had a love of books. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for that. My library card was just revoked. It was great because earlier I was walking around and I was just checking out, people, what was going on. And I walked by one table and they all went, shh, so I knew which table it was. So as you probably have heard, there is a Best Dressed award to be presented this evening. Janet, why did you laugh? So I've been scoping out, and I've been, bribed several times, and it just didn't, you didn't rise to the occasion. I'm sorry. So the Best Dressed award this evening is going to a gentleman who works at Ross Furniture Company, Meb. Hey, Meb. Meb. When Meb first walked in, I said, a man after my own heart. Look at this. Congratulations. A couple of announcements, by the way, in case you did not know, there's a storm a-coming. And the city of Dover has already imposed an on-street parking ban. It goes into effect at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm looking to Mike Gillis, who sent out that press release earlier. 10 o'clock tomorrow night, and it goes until 6 o'clock on Monday morning. So hopefully by then they'll have most of the snow removed. The downtown area, it's from 1 to 6 a.m. You can't be parked on city streets. In case, like Mike Menger's group is still out there celebrating this event, like tomorrow, and on Saturday into Sunday morning between 1 and 6 a.m. you can't be parked downtown. We want to shout out to the Flower Room for providing the floral decorations this evening. Thank you to Chris and Kate Malloy of Malloy Events for the wonderful upscale event delivery this evening. And again, thanks to the Gala Committee for putting together this glamorous evening for our enjoyment. The floral arrangements are going home with the award winners. All other non-floral decor needs to remain on the tables, so you can't take like the coffee pots or the wine bottles, This is the one that I love. It's always at the very end. It's the last page, right near the end, and it says, please turn in your valet ticket 15 minutes prior to when you would like to leave. So that was like 45 minutes ago. This will allow the very busy valet service and our runner, Mike Mengers, to provide your vehicle to you as quickly as possible. And don't forget your coat, which you probably checked at the Northway Bank coat check also. We thank you all for coming. Congratulations to all of our award winners. How about a nice round of applause for all of those award winners this evening? You don't have to leave. You can hang around. You can, Mike's got a tab going somewhere over there. So please drive carefully this weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Go Pats. We'll see you next year. Good night.